didn't feel safe being around people. This is funny because I'm narrating my own life and playing it. But I didn't even know how disconnected I was from life, but occasionally I got little glimpses that I now reflect back on and go, oh wow, that's where my life was. I remember I used to walk home from school every day, and I'd walk along the main highway. And sometimes I'd have friends, other times I'd walk by myself. And every Monday I would have a piano lesson. I wanted to be like Sash, the techno DJ, playing 2 pianos at the same time. Instead, my parents convinced me classical piano was a good idea. So I'd sit there on the seat and my piano teacher would sit next to me and she'd be like, Miroslav, have you noticed that you walk home and you're just really, really, really sad? She goes, I feel sad whenever I see you. And I was like, no. And the way she saw me at that time was probably how I'd lived my life up until, well, sometimes I still sad sometimes. But there wasn't even an awareness of my own sadness. I needed someone from outside of myself to go, hey, are you okay? And it was a beautiful moment in primary school where, for context, I was so introverted that most people had not heard me speak through my schooling days. Like, if I take you to the end of that, in year 12, my high school English teacher, we did an oral, and she was like, asking my friends, is that Miroslav's real voice? And that's in English, so you can imagine the rest of my life. But when I was really young, it's probably not this big, I was going through the whole schooling thing. There was times being bullied by girls and not being able to even voice myself and what I needed. And they were like, maybe you can't speak English, because I came from overseas as a refugee from Yugoslavia. And you know, they brought this other kid who could speak Serbian, and my voice was just so fucking tight. It was like being choked from the inside. I couldn't get a single word out. Like, even trying, I just stuttered, which made me more embarrassed. And I couldn't look at anyone in the eyes, and I just kind of sat there curled in on myself. And during different parts of my schooling, they brought in teachers' aides to, you know, to support me with connecting and communicating, because they thought I was special. And one of my favorite moments from that whole period was, do you guys remember tape decks? You remember I used to be able to get books on tape decks? That was like the original audiobooks, back before Audible and Amazon and all that. So you'd put like this tape in the deck and you'd press play, and then the special kids were given books and you would read along with what the tape deck was saying to you. I sat in that class for most of the term, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, whatever it was. This is about the age of 6 or 7. And towards the end of that, they started asking us to read along with the tape. And first some of the other kids went and they were pronouncing out vowels and sounds, and the dog went over the fence. They were all English speakers. I don't know why they had a Middle Eastern accent. But I remember distinctively, it came for me to read, and the reading was fluid and effortless, and I loved reading, and it's what I was doing every moment of my life when I wasn't at school. And I remember the 2 teachers' aides sitting there like, you know, oh fuck, why have we kept him in this class the whole time? And I realized that my problem wasn't the task or the reading, whatever it is in our lives we think we're putting off. My problem was actually standing up and saying, hey, I can do this. And that's where I feel what Val touched on is super important. It's like asking and saying what we need and what we want. Let's just stop pretending with ourselves. And sometimes pretending is a lot easier than actually being seen for who we really are. So let's just take a deep breath together. Do you guys feel this sadness just entered the room? It's like, okay. So there's 4 states of being that I'm exploring with, and I want to invite